Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, gonna give an article titled, I left my boyfriend because of Twitter standards. He couldn't afford 5-star holidays and fancy dinners. And guys, this whole article, just like this, is about a woman young woman I'm guessing, who basically broke up with her boyfriend because he couldn't do all these things that she felt like she was entitled to have. 5-star restaurants, fancy hotels, vacations, all that, okay? Things that she was seeing that other women were getting on social media and things like that. Now, this article comes from a South African newspaper or website, whatever the hell it is. It was sent to me from a guy, obviously overseas. He wanted to remain anonymous, so okay, fine. So there's going to be certain words here that you're not going to be used to, and I'll just point that out. But basically, the point of this whole video, guys, and I wanted to, aside from this story, is to show you that no matter where you are in the world, women are all the same in the sense of what can push them, what can drive them, things like that, okay, what they respond to. It doesn't make a difference where they live in the world, what religion they are, what culture they are, where they are in the socioeconomic scale, any of these things. Women respond to what they respond to. Certain characteristics and stereotypes pretty much go anywhere around the globe, doesn't matter. And the same thing goes with us. So this is why the stories I do and the articles I go over, they're affected no matter who you are, where you live, okay? And also you're going to see again here with this particular article, it's dead on. This guy is obviously not making the kind of money that she wants. He's not giving her these things that she feels entitled to, the princess here. So she breaks up with him. And you're going to see as I go through this, guys, what ultimately happens here. So, starts off, and there's a little quick synopsis of this, a quick little summary before I actually get into the article. It says here, Thandi, this is her name, thought Bonga, that was his name, again, this is from South Africa, was the love of her life. They met at the end of their matric year and have shared every milestone together since. From applying to the same university and getting accepted to starting their first job in the same month. They had their lives planned out and knew they would end up getting married and living the happily ever after life. As if there is that. But all that changed when Thandi started making her own money and got promoted to a junior manager role where she earned way more than him. How many times have I told you guys and done stories about how women, they start making more money than their guy, higher up job, and all of a sudden they start seeing him in a different light? Because I've told you more times than I can count, women, it's all about status. They want a guy they can look up to, okay? They don't just want a guy that's a rock and strong for them and a leader, but also somebody that's higher up than them they can look up to because they feel like they got a prize. But if all of a sudden they get a better job and they're making a lot more money than their guy, a lot of women start thinking, especially here in the West, because thanks to the feminist movement and things like that, and magazines like Cosmopolitan putting ideas in women's heads, hey, I can do better. I deserve better. I should have a guy that does even better, right? When before, the guy was just fine with the money he was making and that lifestyle he had. And you're going to see this for this video as well. So, and again, a lot of people have the idea like, oh, you have a couple, she makes more. Believe me, the dynamic is going to change a little bit. It can change towards the guy as well, because the guy, obviously, you got some guys have an issue if their gals making more money than them. Maybe it's instinctive knowing that the dynamic's going to change, or he may feel like less of a man. But a lot of times in these stories I go over in articles, the dynamic changes with her. And she doesn't treat the guy the same. She doesn't see him the same compared to before when he was making more money than her. Here is Thandi's story as told to Wandali Jama. These are interesting names. Starts off, when I started making more money than my boyfriend, I felt like Miss Independent who needed a man who was on par with her. I started to view Bonga differently because he couldn't afford certain things. When I would go out with my colleagues and friends, we'd get attention at restaurants and clubs, and men would just settle our bills. This would make me question my relationship. So again, this, right here, the second she started making more money, she started seeing him differently. And of course, because obviously she's young, she's out with friends, she said right here, they go out to restaurants and bars and clubs, and obviously these beta male types, because that's all that way they can get girls is throw money at them, would pay for their bills, would pay for their drinks, would pay for their food. She thinks she's a princess. We are always told, listen to this, We are always told that the man is the provider in a relationship, and society makes it seem like your man is not worthy if he doesn't settle the bill or take you on vacations. Unfortunately, societal pressures and Twitter pressure got to me. So, it's not her fault that she was being a superficial a-hole, okay? It's society's fault. It's Twitter's fault. They made me do it. They made me break up with this great guy because, they told me to do it. Don't blame me. The old joke about women and accountability. A day doesn't pass where Amadada, no joke, guys. You can follow. You can click on the link in the description and see these words, because this is obviously from a South African paper, are not discussed on Twitter. Sayings like "Indada Mayabi Nemali," a man must have money, and when people say things like "What's the point of dating a broke man? Rather love yourself, sis. You shouldn't be paying for that dinner bill," are some of the things that got to me. No joke, guys. This is on the other side of the world. It's the same. Whether it's here in the West, other side of the world. Women are women. They respond to what they respond to. These standards, especially those that are prevalent on Twitter, affected my relationship, and I started to view my boyfriend differently. So apparently this boyfriend has been a great guy to her and all that. They thought they were going to have the live happily ever after, that type of BS you see in movies and TV. Everything was cool. Then she started making more money and saw him differently. And, of course, was being influenced by social media and society that, hey, you deserve all this and he should pay and blah, blah, blah. So wait to see what happens next. I had never voiced my concerns to Bonga because it would be insensitive. He has the BLACK tax and I don't. He earns less than me and there are certain things he can't afford. Things took a turn in our relationship when I was earning far more. I wanted to go on international vacations or even local 5-star vacations, and besides Bonga not being able to afford them, he just wasn't even interested. I wanted to have cute date nights where we could dress up and go on fancy restaurants so I could post them on social media. This generation, the attention and validation generation, okay? Notice that. She didn't want to go out on, as she described, cute date nights and restaurants because she wanted to have a good time with him. Her issue was she wanted to do that so she could take pictures of it, post it on social media so everybody else can see her living this lifestyle. This is the generation now. Guys, for many of you guys that have checked out and said, that's it, I'm done with dating, I'm done with women, I'm just going to focus on me, my goals, I'll be here living with my dog and having a good time and saving money and living my life the way I want to. Things like this, I'm sure, make you just smile and say, you know what, I was right. This is today's world. This is the younger generation growing up, and they're going to obviously be this way when they get older. I was yearning for cute surprises, for the cost of my tires to be taken care of, for him to take my car to the car wash and bring it back with a full tank of gas. Bonga did none of these things, and I never brought it up. She really thinks she's a princess. If you're feeling fearful about dating and wondering if it's worth it, hang on a second here. This part skipped over here. I started meeting men who were always willing to do these things for me, in a heartbeat. At first, I wouldn't entertain them, but as time progressed, I discovered how accessible they were. Translation, male orbiters, I'd be more than happy to do this for her and this for her to get her attention and hope they have a chance with her. And of course, she'd be more than happy to take these guys up on this, right? I thought it was harmless fun, but it made me compare Bonga to them, which was quite unfair. I decided to break up with him because he wasn't offering me what I wanted, and I didn't want to continue comparing him to other men. It was also a way of setting myself free. What a load of crap. What it really was is that I'm making more money. I want somebody higher up that does better than me so I can look up to and respect in that way. And I want to be treated like a princess, treated like a queen. I deserve all these things because guess what? Society and social media and magazines and all that have told me I deserve all these things. So I'm going to ditch this really good guy who obviously loves me and treats me well so I can have other guys that can buy me things, do things for me and all that. That's the mentality. When I broke up with him, he was shocked and taken aback. He told me that I was making the biggest mistake of my life. Well, probably she was, because guess what? This guy was a good guy. But you know what? That day she broke up with him was probably the best day of his life, because he then got rid of her. She says, when I was single, I entertained these men for a while, but settled down with one. He was nice, and we went on vacations together. He would send me money spontaneously, and we'd go to the fanciest restaurants for dinner. I was loving the lifestyle, but I was not fulfilled. There was something missing. I missed the companionship Bonga and I had. I missed our friendship and how vulnerable I was with him, and how he loved me for me. So now she broke up with the guy. She's now on to somebody else that's obviously makes more money and is throwing money at her and taking her on vacations. And guess what? What a surprise. Now she's feeling unfulfilled because she doesn't have the other thing that she had with the other guy. Poor her. Okay? Woe is me. You're getting the whole waterworks here. And now she's missing the guy that she kicked to the curb for guys that would throw money at her, make more money, treat her like the queen. Too bad. You make your bed, you lie in it. This new relationship was all good materially, but not emotionally. We just didn't connect on a level that I wanted to, and I started to regret my decision. Unfortunately, I'm single now and have lost the love of my life because I was envying people on social media. What glitters isn't always gold. So, there you go. It's a quick story, guys, but again, to show you, like I said, women are women all the way around the world. Doesn't make a difference where they are, religion, culture, whatever. The same thing to respond to. And superficial. Does it mean that all women are like this? No, but a lot are, okay? And quite honestly, this guy who she kicked to the curb because he wasn't making enough money for her and wasn't showering her with gifts and fancy dinners and all that crap, which she wanted to just put on social media, this is the best thing that ever happened to him, and I wouldn't give her the time of day. And I guarantee you, mark my words, she's going to reach out to that guy. And if I were that guy, I would just completely ghost her. Wouldn't give her the time of day. I wouldn't even respond to a text or a phone call or email, because at least she's getting something. Don't even give her the time of day, because she deserves it, all right? Or if the guy actually wanted to have a little fun, a little payback, at least the guy could then invite her back, have all the freaky fun he ever wanted with her, because at that point she'll be begging to have him back, and then kick her ass to the curb. However, in today's world, that's risky, because then she can start making accusations, and you know where I'm going from there. But anyhow, guys, as I said before, society's trying to make it right now that, hey, you know, a woman can make more than the guy, and that's fine, everything will be okay, and she'll still love him, and, you know, or situations where the woman, she has the job, and he stays home with the kids, and everything will be okay. Guess what? How many stories have I gone over? And many of you listened to where, guess what? That's not the case, because she starts losing respect for him, like in this story. She doesn't quite see him as the man that she once did, like in this story. And in situations, eventually end up with another guy, like in this story, okay? Or situations with the guy that is Mr. Mom at home. He's taking on the feminine role. She's working and taking on the more traditionally masculine role. And attraction is lost in both parties. Fighting goes on, drama, cheating, all that. So ultimately, it is always better, basically, to have the guy obviously doing better, making more money and all that. That keeps things, you know, where we're on a comfort level everybody's happy with. But, you know, it's all a bunch of nonsense in today's world, but you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But anyhow, guys, it's a quick story, but I thought you'd find this interesting coming from a different part of the world. Thanks to the guy sending me this. So again, don't buy this whole nonsense that it's totally okay for the guy to make less and she'll be just attracted to him and all that. No. They always want a guy that's higher up, higher status, makes more money. They feel like they've gotten a prize, okay? So that's just how it is. And of course, the whole thing about women are pretty much the same wherever you are in the world. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you're in a situation like this and a girl broke up with you after you thought you were in love, you know, because obviously she was making more money or you weren't giving her all these things. And then later on she came crying back to you wanting to get back together when she realized, guess what? You know, you were the best thing in her life, but she kicked you to the curb. Let me know about that story. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.